So it looks like DrunkDeer are going to be releasing a new 60% keyboard pretty soon. The name of the keyboard is the DrunkDeer G60 and it's going to be a pretty good competitor compared to the other rapid trigger options. There is currently a Kickstarter campaign and it's going to end pretty soon, which means the keyboard will most likely be available on their website pretty soon. But the question is this keyboard really worth it and how does it perform for Osu? Now, DrunkDeer did send me an early copy / prototype of the G60 keyboard and I did unbox this and showcase it on my stream on twitch.tv/stu. Be sure to follow if you don't want to miss stuff like this. But before we get started with the unboxing and highlight of the stream, I do just wanted to let you know that this video is not sponsored by DrunkDeer in any way, shape or form and that my opinion about this keyboard is completely my own. And now here are my first impressions and unboxing of the keyboard, and later on I'm going to give you my full review at the end of the video. Guys, this is the prototype of the G60. I'm gonna unbox this here like this. Alright, let's see what I got. Honestly, 3, 2, 1. Oh wait, there's foam. My bad. Foam to see. It's the white version. Sheesh. Like accent keycaps. They look so good though. I'm gonna put the keyboard on the side. Let's see what else they sent me with the keyboard. They do send you extra switches. These are the Raesha switches. That also comes with the A75. This is how the switch looks. It's pretty interesting. And unlike most switches, let me show you. Here's the difference. So this is the KS20 switches from Gateron, right? It is a pretty small switch and from the behind there's like 2 stems as you can see. Here is the DrunkDeer switch, which are the Raesha switches. I don't know how you pronounce them, but it is a bit bigger compared to the KS20 switch, as you can see. But on top of that, instead of these like 2 stems that you have at the like down and the magnet in the middle, there's this stem right here in the middle, right? There's only one that is pretty big. And if you look closely, you see that small metal part? That's the magnet. We get also 2 other things. So they did send a switch puller, like the previous one. You also get the white spray. Oh, hold up. It's a white cable. So if you get the white version, you'll get a white cable and it's also USB-C, just so you know. So yeah, this is the keyboard, by the way. Here it is. Looks pretty good so far. And honestly, the only complaint that I have, if you look from the back, there is no kickstands. Like you can't raise these. These are just like on their own. You can only put it on a flat surface like this and you can't raise it. It is pretty high. It is in a bit of a profile, but there isn't like a kickstand thing where you can just, you know, raise these. Unlike the A75 does have these. You can just raise it and put it in an angle. I usually do play like this, but I'm guessing y'all want to see how the keyboard sounds. Let's see the sound test. Pretty good. How does it compare to my A75? I like the A75 a bit more, but the G60 sounds pretty good. It does sound pretty good. However, I know y'all are also interested to see the RGB, so let's just plug it in. Oh my god. Since it's the white version, it looks bright as hell. Look at this. Look how bright that is. I like RGB. And honestly, with the white version, you're getting a ton of good quality RGB. DrunkDeer G60 US. There we go. This is the software for the DrunkDeer keyboard. So, of course, you have rapid trigger on and off. There is turbo mode, which is like tachyon mode. Enable keystroking or whatever. Which just like shows you... There we go. the input on the software itself is click on N and M, put the actuation point at, okay, so 0.2 to 3.8 millimeters. You essentially get the same rapid trigger with the A75 on the G60. So we're gonna put it at let's put it at 0.3. I like 0.3 usually. Downstroke, I'm gonna put at 0.3, and upstroke also at 0.3, and then I'm gonna save to keyboard. We can also change the color, which is you essentially get the same like RGB options with the other DrunkDeer keyboards as well. Wave spectrum, for example. That looks pretty dope. However, I need to put the brightness up. That's better. That's better. Like, here it is. Is this literally Snake? The fuck? What the hell? That's weird. I'm just gonna put it at the regular one, the default one that was for the keyboard, which is the rotating RGB. So there's obviously pros and cons for every keyboard, so let's just get on with the pros and cons for this keyboard. Okay, so the pros. The keyboard is currently priced at around $80, which is a pretty affordable option. Not to mention that this is probably the cheapest rapid trigger keyboard that you can currently buy on the market. And it's honestly a pretty good deal considering the fact that the Wooting Uvo RGB version is currently priced at around €70. Another pro that I can say for this keyboard is the fact that it comes in multiple colors. You can get a white version, a slightly brown version, a black version, and of course the grayish version. And they all come with these accent keycap colors that you may or may not like. It depends on your personal preference. Now, another pro that a fellow YouTuber by the name of Birch mentioned when he was watching my stream is the fact that there's no weird ramp in front of the keyboard, so you can comfortably place your thumb there. That is something that the Wooting 60HE has, and there is a group of people that complain about it. And the final pro for the keyboard is the fact that the switches themselves feel pretty smooth to type and even play on. And even if you don't like the weight of the switches, you can easily just order other springs from DrunkDeer themselves, or you can even swap them out for Cherry MX springs because these switches are compatible with those springs as well. Now let's move on to some of the cons that this keyboard has. So a content creator by the name of Markeebs, shout out to him, but he disassembled the G60 keyboard, and in the process of doing so, he found out that the G60 doesn't have the standard mounting points that the usual 60% keyboards have, which means that the G60 isn't really as customizable as the Wooting 60HE, which means that you can't just take the existing plate assembly of the keyboard and just place it into another case. For people that usually don't customize their keyboards, like me for example, this won't be a big deal, but for a lot of people that like to customize their keyboards, it will be a pretty big deal because they could have made a customizable 60% keyboard with rapid trigger on it for less than half the price of the Wooting 60HE. So it's a bit of a bummer for them that they can't do that. Another thing that can be a pretty big deal that Lifeline mentioned in his video is the debounce thing with the switches. Apparently Wooting switches are a bit more faster compared to the DrunkDeer switches in terms of bounciness, and it's something that even a player like Master, who I've previously talked about, has noticed in his DrunkDeer and Wooting Uvo. I did try that for myself. For me personally, I don't really notice it that much, but for you it may be different. And the final con that I have for the keyboard is the fact that it does feel a bit too light for my liking. However, I did notice for their other keyboards that DrunkDeer do sell aluminum cases, so in the near future we might see one for the G60 as well. Now, do I recommend buying this keyboard? Honestly, yeah, I completely recommend that you get this keyboard because you're getting a lot of value for the price. For 80 bucks, you essentially get the same rapid trigger that you can get on the A75 and on the G65 as well, which overall isn't too far from the Wooting rapid trigger at all. You also get pretty good RGB with the keyboard as well, and even if you don't like it, you can always just turn it off. And I just overall think that it's a good keyboard, but again, I'll just leave that up to you. The choice is yours. But yeah, overall, what do you think about this keyboard? Let me know down in the comments. I'll leave a link to the Kickstarter link down below and also my affiliate link with DrunkDeer. But yeah, that's it. Thank you so much for watching. Really hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye bye.